Have you seen the movie Barbie?
I did. I saw the movie Barbie, but I saw it after Oppenheimer, like 5 minutes.
Wait, you did that challenge back to back?
Is that a challenge?
I saw people saying that it was a challenge to watch them back to back. I was like, how the heck are they doing that?
Yeah.
How
I mean,
was
you
that?
get to choose if you want to see Barbie first or Oppenheimer first.
Wait, is it a deal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you saw the longer one.
I saw Oppenheimer, and then my friend was like, we have 5 minutes to get to the next theater for Barbie. And I was like, like, you know, Oppenheimer was so good.
I want to see both of these movies.
Like, our theater, Opry Mills in Nashville, is one of the only ones showing it as it should be shown.
What
Like,
do
it,
you mean?
in IMAX, in the correct IMAX version. So, like, we really have a treat.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's so good, dude. I enjoyed it. So I enjoyed Barbie, but I think I need to see it again because I was just such on a high from Oppenheimer, and then going to like, hi, Ken. It was like,
You're like,
I'm
what?
not ready for this. I just saw some real shit, you know? So I think I just had a little bit of a different experience.
Well, I want to go see it. So
You haven't seen Barbie?
I haven't seen either one of them.
What?
Yeah.
Let's run it back. Oppenheimer to Barbie.
No. I'll do one at a time.
Okay, yeah,
But
that's
if
probably
you want to
best.
see it, Barbie again,
I do.
I want to see it.
Okay.
I keep hearing, like, I really didn't have an interest in it, but the more people talk about it, they're saying it's not what you think, and there's a lot of life meaning stuff to
Yeah.
it. So
I mean, after you watch a thing about a bomb that really happened, you're like, I don't know. I just had a different experience. But I cried during Barbie. I had a good experience with it. I think the ending was a little confusing for me. It was all over the place. But I think I just need to see it again.
okay.
The ending was like, color, like people of color are cool, but also men are cool and women are awesome too. It was just like, you know.
No.
Well, you will.
That's what, I need to see it.
Yeah. We'll watch it again. Oh, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's groovy in your life?
I don't know if I go that far.
Okay. I just literally worded you're doing good in a different way, and you were like, well, I wouldn't say groovy.
Groovy feels like fantastic. Like, I'm enjoying parts of my life, and parts of my life are, there's just some personal things I think I'm just trying to work out and work through, and that's not always the fun stuff, but worthwhile. But yeah.
Are you in therapy?
I don't go to a therapist like every week, but like I had a therapist like brain spot me.
Okay.
But it's somebody that I knew. So it's like
Recently?
let's trade. Yeah, like last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I do like sound therapy and Reiki.
Okay.
Like, and it just opens up stuff, and then I'm, going through it. So
Why aren't you in something like that I'm in?
I don't feel like I need something like consistent like that all the time. I just have enough things I engage with that I'm working through things, and all of my friends are therapists.
Okay.
So I mean, I did therapy for years, weekly for years.
Got you.
And so, I do psychedelics every so often, and then it's just people I'm around. I'm able to talk and work through things, and things I do, personally help me. So I don't know. I haven't felt the need to go to a therapist like weekly for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But there's always stuff therapeutic that I'm doing.
Well, I'm glad you're working through stuff.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm really good. I'm happy, and I'm going through a lot of deep stuff in therapy. Like, I feel like we're in the thick of it right now.
Good.
Which is like, I've been going, and I'm like, I know that's kind of a joke, but also I feel like I'm going to vomit, and I've never felt that before. But like today on my way to therapy, I was like, I feel like I'm going into battle. And Alex, my boyfriend, he was like, well, this is one battle that's not going to kill you. And I was like, you're right. It's going to make me live better.
I love Alex.
He's such a great guy. Just squeeze his little face. I was like, you're right. So I'm really enjoying therapy right now.
Yeah. Those things, it's like the hardest ones are the most therapeutic ones.
Oh, it's
You're just
so
like,
good.
oh, doing something good.
I can see, like, she'll be like, you want to brain spot that, or you want to make art about that? And it's so funny. I've never really done this before, but I've only done it sarcastically when I'm like, yeah, but my face will be like really, and she'll be like, you're making a face that says no. And I'm like, I know. I don't know what that is.
I've literally had somebody start to cry when I've asked, like, do you want to brain spot that? And they're like,
please no.
I'm like, we don't have to.
But inside, I do want to.
It's just a part of you that's like, we're about to go into the thick of it. Like that pointer or just the word brain spotting. It's like,
you're like, oh, we're about to heal. Okay. Instead of just like it being some distant feeling that's bothering me.
Here we go. But I think it's good. You have a therapist that'll invite you into that every time.
Yes.
Versus walking around it with you.
Oh my God. I'm so grateful for her. She's just, at the end, she's always like, good work. And I'm like, you too. Like, I'm so grateful for what she does. And I can see, like, I've been in therapy, like exposure therapy, and I came to the other side of that. Like, I can look back at my past and be like, that got me to another side. And I see what I'm going through now, the other side in the distance. And I'm like, that's going to be so fucking sweet. So I'm really enjoying this right now.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Tell me about the other good stuff. Like, I know you're traveling, you're doing all kinds of
traveling.
fun stuff. I want to know about it.
I just, oh my goodness. I just got flown out to LA. Yes.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Tell me.
I got flown out to LA to film a Don't Tell special.
Woohoo.
Yes. And it was awesome. Like,
so fun.
I'm just like, there'll be moments where I'm living in the moment to where I'm like, man, from starting an open mic to now I'm getting flown out somewhere to do my thing. And it was just
amazing.
Like, it was so dope. And I was like a little nervous because I'm like, are these LA people gonna get my Southern jokes and like stuff like that? But I just had people coming up afterwards and being like, you were our favorite. And like, people say such nice, they'll look me in my eyes and be like, keep going. Okay. This is where you're supposed to be. And they're like, I know you hear that. And I'm like, no, this is such a beautiful moment. I'm
like,
so grateful.
Keep telling me.
I'm like, this shit's hard, bro. I appreciate it when you tell me that, you know? And I stayed with a friend out there, another comic I'd only met once. And so I was like, we'll see how this goes. And we just connected so quickly. And
you do that with a lot of people, you know.
I do. That's what Ritu always says. She was like, oh, so surprised. I'm like, okay, yeah.
I love that about you, though.
I literally was talking about that in therapy today. That was one of the things that I love about myself is just how I really feel like myself when I hear people's stories and I'm able to connect with them. I'm like, I really feel in my bag in those moments. Like, I just feel so good. Oh. Yeah.
I love
So I was able to connect with her and now we have a deeper friendship and meet some of the Don't Tell people like in person. I've only like talked to them over Zoom and they were just so cool and welcoming and they were like, this is going to be a fun experience. Like, this isn't like, we aren't like other girls, you know? They're just like, if you don't like what you film, it's cool. Just like, we'll do whatever you want. And I just felt dope.
Yeah. That feeling of being accepted and not judged is so big.
It's really
so
big. And I went first too, I was looking at the other people and like looking at their credits and I started to get in my head of like, who am I?
Yeah.
And then I was like,
Amber fucking Audrey.
I was like, I gotta get back in my mindset, baby. And I did, and I smashed it. And I'm just like, I am where I'm supposed to be, dude. Like,
that's what I was talking about in the episode we just recorded. Of saying like, you know, when he was talking about the negative talk, self-talk, but kind of using it as a way to
deflect.
Well, I mean, but he was using it as a way to do, like, it pushes me to do better. If I think of myself as good, I won't be better.
Right.
But I would say, I think we were both kind of saying the opposite. And that's what I think when you're like in that energy of it, that's when you do better.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you feel more present in the flow of it.
1,000%. You take out that whole middle part that there's no real benefit in. Like you can believe in yourself and also get better.
Well, the part of you that looked at the credits of the people that started getting nervous, that's the self-doubting part.
True.
That doesn't let you go out there and, right?
Yeah.
I would imagine it's really hard just to have fun with it and do your best with that going on.
True.
Yeah.
True. And I do feel like with the filming, I was like, oh, I could have been a little more present, because with filming, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm being filmed. I want to be perfect, you
Yeah.
know? But then also at the same time, I'm like, well, that's just, I learned a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I smashed it, but I also learned for the next time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've done one, so I can feel a little, you know?
Yeah.
It was a cool moment I wasn't freaking out after. It wasn't like, oh my God, I suck. I was like, that was dope. I killed that
I'm
shit.
so excited.
Yeah, I'm so
I want to go be your fangirl when you go do all these places. I want to go.
Okay.
I love it. I'm serious.
I am going to Austin in August. I mean, that's really soon.
Wait,
but
like right now? When?
August 21st. I'm headlining Roscoe's Comedy Club. So if someone out there knows people in Austin, send them my way. August 21st. This doesn't come out until September.
So you missed it, bitches.
It was so dope. I'll be back. Gotcha.
Just kidding.
Our producer was like, no, that's not. I'm like, okay. Soon I'll be back. Watch you. But they can see Corey Knox. I'm sorry, I shouted. You've already got this on a level 10.
Yes.
Corey Knox, our guest that we filmed with today.
He's moving to Austin on the 20th.
So you will be able to look him up.
Mm-hmm.
CoreyJKnox. He says it at the end, but
J stands for Jerome.
Jerome. He was so good.
He was. I loved him.
I'm always like kind of thrown off by people that are so calm and being like, yeah, I'm pretty much good.
You are always,
I'm like, you're good. You're good. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know.
Well, I don't feel like it's hard to get to some of these places we see our guests talking about on their own, but it is surprising because their stories are some really, really difficult stuff that the way they've made sense of it and how they are showing up in it. It's impressive.
It is impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive.
And I feel like towards the end and I feel like this happens sometimes, is like when we got into he opened up a little more about like talking about the hating on yourself is what inspires you, you know.
What I liked about him too is that we both had a little bit of a different thought process around that, and he was really open and received it. Like in the conversation, you could tell he took it in and was reflecting on it right there in real time, and I really appreciated and liked that.
He's a great guy.
That's why he's probably been able to do what he's done.
That's so true, because he's able to take stuff in.
Yeah.
He's wonderful. You are going to love the episode.
Yes.
Thanks for listening. And also, don't forget about Float Nashville. We got codes TTN, the number 10, and Amber 10. Type that in and you get a discount. Float is so dope. It's like therapy that you can do on your own time.
You can use it to prep for psychedelic work too.
Boom. Okay, enjoy Corey Knox.
Thanks.
You just really getting into it.
Something
I like the
smells
smell of
weird.
these microphones.
I used to. You
to your
put fish oil
breath.
on this. You're like, ha.
There's a salted minnows underneath it.
Yeah.
Just a layer of salted minnows. Got her.
Somebody was talking about bad neighbors they had the other day and said that their neighbor put hot chili pepper sauce under the handles of their car.
Damn.
I was like, they're not playing.
Wow.
That's awful.
Hi, little Licky. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Lick. Oh. Ooh. Ooh, girl, you got some bad bread. You got some bad bread. Okay.
Don't be mean.
Mean, truthful, honest. Not all of her friends are telling her. Hi, Corey.
Hey.
Hey.
Did it start?
We're starting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you just
I'm good.
You were chill until I said that.
Yeah.
Do you feel nervous?
No.
Okay.
I feel great.
Are you ready to talk about all your deep, dark secrets?
Yes.
Okay.
But before we get started, happy St. Patrick's Day
Oh.
to you.
Is
And I don't know, we're just all wearing green, and I thought it was funny.
Oh, wow, we are. That's my... I thought you were just making fun of me, and then I was about to be, you're
I did
wearing...
the same thing.
That's very observant.
It really is.
I didn't notice.
I want to comment real quick on this liquid death that you're drinking.
Yeah.
What is that?
The brand or the type of?
The type.
It's water.
Oh,
right?
it's Armless Palmer. They came out with they're smart because it's like Arnold Palmer, but it's their version of it. So it's like got a little agave and tea, and it's really good.
No alcohol?
No. No, I think that's their thing. They're just anti-alcohol.
Oh.
Yeah, Liquid Death is just all.
It's
I'm
normally-
not trying to be
it's
a bro.
normally
I
busy.
shouldn't even have it.
It's
You're
a
not
little
not
broy,
sponsored. I know
but-
it is, but like, it's just good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because the water one's kind of stupid. I'm like, dude, just get a bottle of water. But this one like tastes like it has flavor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're allowed to like what you like.
Yeah.
Murder your thirst. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not like sponsored or anything. Don't worry.
No, I thought it was funny. Bro didn't come to mind, but when
really?
you said it is broy, and then I just saw
Yeah.
murder your
It's a
thirst.
And you're like,
it's,
oh.
yeah. It's a bro
Okay.
brand. But it's funny. Armless Palmer. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like some of they got a whole their whole tea one is pretty good.
Okay.
I like tea. I don't know what to say.
Are you from the South?
No.
I was about to ask that too.
Oh, wait. You're not. Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Buffalo, New York.
Ooh,
Yeah.
and you like tea.
I do. Yeah, they have tea in other parts of the country, believe it or not.
No.
I didn't think so either. Yeah, they do.
But it's with no ice and not sweetened, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we have. It's not the sweet tea is not good up there. Don't ever get
No.
it. No, it's bad.
When I
Sweet
fir-
tea's
That's what I
bad.
hear.
Yeah.
Hmm.
When I first went to Chicago, I asked for sweet tea. They handed the Nest thing in a can.
Yeah. Or like
Yeah.
Brisk. Brisk is
Brisk.
like the
That's
only
what.
thing.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck?
Everything else is just garbage.
How long ago did you move to the South?
6 years about.
Okay.
Yeah, we're coming up on 6 years.
Do you miss being from the North?
No.
Like living. Really?
I mean, I just I'm glad that I'm from there. I'm glad that I'm from Buffalo. But Buffalo is it's a great place. I'm just glad that I don't live there now. That's all.
Why?
It's kind of just I don't know. It's just a place where I don't want to be too mean. I love Buffalo, but I just don't want to be there. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
It's not a family
Yes.
thing at all. It has nothing to do with my family. Don't worry.
So
Take
tell
a
us
big
about your
sip.
family.
No, I love my family and I love all my friends too. It's kind of a place where you just do what you do there, and then you I don't want to say you file in because there's really cool people that are doing what they love to do, and I think it's great, but it's just not a place where I ever thought I'd stay and get to do the things in my life that I'm doing now. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, and you talk about this a little in your set.
Mm-hmm.
You used to play football there, right?
I did. Yeah. Yeah. I grew up wanting to play football for the Bills, and I got a chance to do that. It didn't work out like the way I wanted to, but yeah, I was always wanting to play for that team, and I don't know, now that I look back at it, I'm starting to get this like thing of like I didn't really like football. Like I liked football, but like I was kind of dealing with other things, and I was using football to do that. Like that's really probably more so what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking back, because I was always into like art, and I wanted to study architecture in college, which I did. So like football was like I don't know, it was like kind of a weird thing. Yeah.
How'd you choose that to process things? Like, can you talk more about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think, you know, my brother and I, we had like a little bit of a tough upbringing. My parents got divorced when we were young. We were in a really bad car accident when I was like 5 years old. My uncle died in the car accident, which was terrible. I told everyone I didn't want to drive, but they made me. So no, it's a new joke. It's bad. It's
Because he
a
was
joke.
5. He wasn't driving.
I
Really.
wasn't, yeah.
She's like,
I thought you meant like ever you didn't want to
Yeah.
drive.
No.
But I get it now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's just a new joke. I'm sorry.
I'm
You had to
slow.
be subjected to that one. But
Process
I am
slow.
going to try and slip in a couple jokes here. Just so
oh, yeah.
Please do. You may have
Wouldn't
to
that be the
explain it to me. No. What were you dealing with? What were like those things, but what was
So my parents got divorced when we were young. Then after that, my dad was kind of in and out of prison for, quite a bit of our childhood. So I think for me, sports was an outlet as it is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And football was a way for me to like get the aggression out without being nasty to people in real life.
That's
Yeah.
That
So
makes sense.
yeah. And I think I just took that to and my dad was like a tough dude too. Like
Mm-hmm.
when he was around, that's the crazy part is like when he was around, he was like an incredible dad. Like he was, like he would do he would play hide and seek with us and just do all the craziest shit like that no other dads would do. And then, years later you find out, he was doing blow. So he was like, let's go fucking play hide and go seek. Every other dad's like, gotta go to work. And he's just like, let's have fun. So, but like overall, he was like an awesome dad. And all my friends are always like, I wish we had your dad as a dad. And so it was good when he was there. When he wasn't, I had to kind of deal with, what was going on. And I think sports was like the first thing that I got into that I was kind of good at, but I could just really put all my effort into and all my frustration and anger. And then, The Water Boy came out and I was like, oh, they're making movies about guys like this. This is good. This is really cool. So, I was like, it felt cool. So I just really, I think I used that as a tool to try and get a scholarship because I wasn't great in school. I never really paid attention or anything. So that eventually led to an opportunity to play for my hometown team, the Buffalo Bills. And then that didn't work out because we got a new head coach, and let's not talk about that part of it. No. That's a whole. I do that enough in my stand-up. I talk about how that didn't work out, but that's just part of it. It's just part of life.
Well,
have you come to grips with that?
Yeah,
yet?
right.
I think so. I think I'm happy that I'm not bashing my head against other people right now, and I'm able to do stand-up, and I still have relative cognitive function and I can remember jokes kind of sometimes and I think the more I get to do stand up hopefully on a bigger level or comedy in general I'll be like happier that I didn't take that route I guess. And now I don't know, football players are just douchey. Now that I look at them I'm just like they're not as cool to me as they used to be.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It sounds like okay, so when football first didn't pan out, were you like freaking out? Because it sounds like now like you've most of the way come to terms with it, but there's still like a little pain in not working out, even though you didn't want it to.
I'm sorry. I'm all tangled up
he's
here.
Tipping the table.
Jesus, I'm getting all, well, let's talk about it. No, no. I think. What was your question again? I'm sorry. CTE just kicks in sometimes. It's not good. But
your word, like it kind of sounds like you're part way over football not working out, but that there's still a little like disappointment in it. Yeah.
I mean, I worked really hard to get the chances I got, and I still think that I would have been a good player. I think that's what it is more so than anything. It's not like I feel like I have another purpose in life. It's not like I was like one of those dudes that's like, if I don't make it, I'm not gonna. It's funny because people, when I did get signed, like childhood friends and like my brother's friends, they would like come up to me and they'd be like, you better make the team because if not, dude, you got nothing.
Oh my God.
I was like, thanks, man. Like they would say shit like that to me.
Wow.
And it was pretty unbelievable. And I think about that shit all the time. Where I'm like, God damn. But that's what I'm trying to get at with the Buffalo thing is like I love people from there, but they couldn't understand anything other than that opportunity, which is why they're a great fan base, which is why they're charming people in their own way. But I was just like, yeah, man, I'll figure it out after that. So I'm still figuring things out. I feel much better about life overall after sports. It's a tough thing for any athlete to like figure out what they're doing next, knowing how do you train for that long and be into something for that long. And then someday someone's just like, oh yeah, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Damn.
Yeah. I hate working out now because I'm like, there's no reason for me to do any of this. And then everyone's just filming themselves at the gym. And I'm just like, God, I got to get out of here. But yeah.
How did you switch over to stand-up? You said that you always wanted to do art.
Yeah. I mean, I love stand-up. I think going back to my dad a little bit, he was a very funny guy. And he would always, when he would screw something up or be bad, he would use humor to be like, hey, I'm still a funny guy. That was very much so part of his like cycle of things. So I learned and I watched him from a young age walk into every room and know how to make everyone laugh. Like that's just what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would make us laugh, and you'd never get mad at him that way,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just really good at doing that. So I think I learned that at a young age, and I think I want to do that, but I don't want the bad part. So I've been trying to, as I get older, like be a better person, but then also be able to make people laugh, because the other side of it is can be slippery,
Yeah. When you say the bad part, what is that?
He was, he got into drugs, and that really dictated his life,
Mm-hmm.
for like most of my childhood and our childhood. And he
Mm-hmm.
struggled with it for years. And, yeah, so I never wanted to go down that route, and I never wanted to be the party guy or the guy I was a little bit of a square when I was younger, because I was so worried about like doing, now I'm a, certified pothead, but I like when I was younger, I was like, when I was younger, I would be like, drugs are bad. I was like writing the DARE essay, and I was never good enough to get picked to actually be the person that was picked for the DARE thing. But, obviously. But
I mean, is that really like a bragging thing? Though?
I mean, no, but I wanted it so bad. I was like, what does this fucking guy have that I don't?
Oh.
And then he ended up being like the biggest like druggie in our high school, and like in like 10th grade, he was selling weed to like 7th graders. I'm like, what the fuck?
He knew
is
the
this?
product.
No, he knew. He was smart. He was like, I know what this is gonna turn into. It's an industry. And I was just mad that he figured it out before I did. So, yeah. Did that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your relationship with your dad like now?
Well, he he passed away last year.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So, it's been, it's been very difficult. As we all know, losing someone that's close. I've never lost someone that close to me, and he was like a hero to me growing up. So, yeah, I've figured I've just tried to like live my life recently, like take as much of him as I can, and like use that in the positive, which is part of it that I'm enjoying. But yeah, obviously miss him every day, and yeah. So
yeah. Where do you you have siblings, right?
I do. Yeah, I have an older brother.
Where do you find your support after something like that happens?
I mean, our whole family is kind of like a traditional, like old school, first, second generation immigrants, where they're like, you don't talk about the bad. It's not that you don't talk about it, but it's not like dealt with well. So I think I've really tried to use positive outlets to, whether it be working out, stand up, writing, just better ways of I've stopped drinking a couple months ago, because I was like, well, I haven't gotten a DWI since like middle school, so let's just countercheck. Let's just be like, all right, we
Was
made
that your
it,
idea
dude.
of being a square?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I drank, but I wouldn't do anything else. I was like, this is the one thing.
I'm a square
in the
Seventh grade, I'm like,
Yeah.
but it was like my thing. I was like, because I had an older brother, so like his friends would always get me drunk, and so it's their fault, obviously. But it was like, I was the bartender at every party, at every high school party. They were like, "Where's the bartender?" And I'm just don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and that's not good. But but I figured out how to kind of not get in trouble this far. So I'm like, I should probably stop drinking. It's been fun, but so yeah, those are the ways that I've been. My brother struggles. He's been struggling with it. We all have, but I hope that everyone back home. I'm not home, so it's hard to be around and talk. I try to call as much as I can, but it's one of those things. It was very sudden for a lot of us, and I don't know. He was such a character in our family that it's like it still doesn't, for me especially, it doesn't feel like it had happened really still. But yeah.
It sounds like you're pretty, like you say that your family doesn't really like dive into the emotions of things, but it sounds like you do on your own.
Yeah. I think I'm a very emotional person, and like I think it's weird because I don't maybe look like that person on the surface in a way sometimes, but also I think I've like tried to figure as much out on my own as I can, because I think I've had to since I was a kid. A little bit. Like I never had like rules when I was younger. I don't think, like I would always just like when my parents split up, like they were kind of out partying, like doing what they wanted. So I never had, like, I was just out whenever I wanted. I never had a curfew. I never had to check in with anyone. So I think I had to like be careful and kind of have like a self awareness about what was going on, or else I would have gotten into trouble. And that was like the last thing I wanted to do. So I think I've tried to, and I've read and I've tried, well, I shouldn't say it. I've listened to a lot of audiobooks and I've tried to like learn more about what's going on and maybe the things that I don't realize are going on. And I've tried to do that as much as I can. So, yeah.
That's impressive.
It
Thanks.
is.
Yeah.
Thanks. I don't know if it sometimes doesn't feel like it's working, but it's, I think it's all I can
life
do.
keeps happening and is hard.
Exactly.
To me, I think you were kind of like, you've been able to make sense of some of the things that's happened and how you're experiencing them. And I think that's really all we can do.
Yeah, I thought about this the other day. Like, just bad things are going to happen, and it's not gonna stop. So you're kind of like, I think the smarter, more wise people try and figure out like, how am I going to deal with this? How could I, minimize the pain and the things that were going to be. I felt like the last few times I even went home and visited, I just saw my dad like not looking as well, and I was like, oh yeah, he's getting to that point that he just had fun. He was a blast. He just did whatever he wanted, and there was no questioning it. So I kind of felt it, but no one else really did because they had been seeing him every day. And then when I got the call, I obviously was shocked, but I wasn't like, oh, I can't believe this. I was like, oh yeah, this guy's just been going hard for a while in pain, and that's what happens. Yeah. So
it sounds like you've really like come to terms with who your dad was in y'all's relationship. Yeah. Because you were like, I wanted to be like him, but not the bad ways. Like, yeah.
I think it's a bit. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like, how do I word this? Like, do you feel like you got to say everything you wanted to say to your dad? And if not, how did you like come? You just sound so like grounded and like, am I making sense? And like who your dad was and your relationship?
Well, you're just able to talk about it with, I guess, a level of awareness.
Yeah.
Without, like, we both have lost our dads too, and it can be very hard to even sit with it here. So for you to be able to talk about it with us and have already made some sense out of it, does that make sense? Is that what you're kind of getting at?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I sometimes I don't know because I'm not okay with like it. I think about it every single day. You know what I mean? Like it's with me every day, and it will be forever. Obviously, y'all know that. But I think just like trying to be as positive as I can about it is like the decision I made. Like I did the eulogy at the Catholic church that we had the service at, and bombed, like just bad.
Oh.
Just no, it was fine. It was actually it was a little fun. Like I did a couple jokes that actually got people to laugh, and I was like, nice. Maybe
I love it. That's
maybe
how
I'll
you're
get
gay.
booked. Maybe I'll get booked here.
Have they reached out to you?
Here, this is clean Christian comedy. Nashville, book me.
Oh yeah, no.
Headlining.
No, but yeah. Headlining Our Lady of Chenstohova Church, Corey Knox. Yeah. No,
that is a market that people haven't really tapped into, though.
Right.
If you could like crush at funerals, murder.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. I think there's something there. I think we can start a comedy tour. We just do.
Wait, don't say we. No, this is for you.
Okay, I'm gonna become strictly a funeral
It's your
comedian.
specialty.
Yeah.
This is my my forte. Yeah, I like that. I think just knowing that someone also has to like carry the torch in my family, and I think even though I might not, like, I think my grandma's the funniest person in our entire family, and she's hilarious. And I think my dad's like right underneath her. And I think I'm not even close to being as funny as them, but like there's someone that has to kind of keep the comedic relief going. And it doesn't seem like, and it's not that a lot of people are funny in my family, but they're like, he was just a unique brand of funny. And I feel like I have to at least be that for everyone else when I go home or whenever, But I think that's why I'm not okay with it, but like it feels like I've understood our relationship better, because the rest of it was hard to like, it's hard to think about what the rest of our relationship was, you know. It's like, because I want to think like, how can I take this terrible thing and just like have it be okay with it for, because you have to live with it. That's what people don't understand. You have to live with that happening forever, until you're gone. So that's something that I don't think I quite understood until it happened. I was like, oh, this is the part that's brutal. It's like you all know that your when you know your parents and people you love are going to die, but when it happens, you just have to be reminded of it all the time, and it doesn't go away. It's sitting there with you all the time. So like that is like something that you don't think about until it happens, I think. So that's my way of, I think, honoring him and what I saw him be able to do my whole life when things were good, is make everyone laugh and be a silly dude. And yeah, he was the best. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like helping, I mean, you're carrying on that memory.
Yeah.
Doing that. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. That's
so nice.
I think I always kind of knew that, I don't know, that was going to be the scenario at some point. You know, I didn't think he was going to live till he was like 70 or 80 or anything like that. I was like, dude just went hard. You know, he was having fun. So, but, yeah. And then, a thing that actually happened. So my roommate that I was living with, he's also one of my best friends. I'd been living with him for about 5 years. He was this first place I moved to when I moved to Nashville. Became great friends with this dude, musician. He had been diagnosed with cancer, like I want to say a year and 7 months ago. And then 5 months into his treatment, my dad died.
Damn.
Yeah. So it was like we were living in the house together, and that was crazy. And then a week later, his dad died.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. So we were like, holy shit, you know. We thought like 2020 was bad, but like it was just, yeah, we couldn't even like process what was even happening. I don't think. And we still haven't really. I went over there the other day and we talked, and you know, he's doing much better. He's in remission. He's doing great. But I mean, it was pretty heavy for a while, you know, just figuring out how to feel okay. And he was really cool. Like he let me slide on rent for like 5 months. So I was just, you know, stealing from a cancer patient, which is good.
I was going to say.
I paid him back. I totally paid him back. I think I paid him back.
How much was that liquid death, Corey? Seemed to be living pretty large. God, that's hard, dude. Like, I feel like in that situation, I'd be like, life just is fucking punching you in the face again and again.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it was just like a really like a moment where you're like, okay, either you make something funny out of this, or you like cope with it and you do what you can to keep going, or you just get pushed down into whatever vices you have, whatever drinking you're doing, whatever drugs you might be doing, and it might, you know, end your actual what you've been trying to do. It could ruin you, you know. And I didn't want that to happen. I know he didn't want that to happen, and you know, we kind of stuck through it. And yeah, so it's been an interesting couple years, to say the least. We've been dealing with a lot of shit, but we're both doing better now. He's doing great, and he's back to his normal life, and so we're happy about that. Yeah.
Could you speak or share your thoughts around how, because it seems like with comedians, it's like sometimes being funny can be a way to work through things. And then sometimes it can be just kind of a thing that we focus on that keeps us from working through things. And this being funny for you, humor is so tied into the loss of your dad. How do you experience that? Because I've heard you say, like, I focus so much on just the positive and the good, because there's pain there too.
Sure.
And I imagine being funny, you feel close to your dad, or it feels like honoring to him. So it feels like it's really all mixed together for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think at a younger age, I kind of had to figure out how to be okay by myself, and okay away from people, and okay with, you know, what was happening at the time that was kind of out of my control. I wasn't like a class clown or anything. I never was like that type of, but like just a good laugh can make you feel unbelievable, and the people around you, it makes them feel good. So I think I started to do that when I was a little bit younger, and I started to realize the value of that. But I don't think I've ever like shied away from the pain I was feeling. I think I always felt it and thought about it and like, acknowledged it and then kind of moved on. But yeah, there's very much so like, I don't know. I think I was using sports for a while to deal with the pain. And it was like, if I was mad that my dad wasn't around or something was going on with my mom or whatever the hell was going on, I just went and played harder on the football field. And like that got me through it a little bit. But I still knew that it wasn't normal to be running around like an idiot, just trying to be angry at people that had nothing to do with my parents' divorce. That was kind of weird thing to do, but it helped me play harder in football. Yeah.
But you didn't know that at the time.
I mean, I did a little. I knew that I did a
Your
little.
face, you're like, yeah.
I did a little bit. Like I think, yeah, but you were, come on, you just were, no.
I mean, I guess I don't know that for a fact, but I feel like as you're doing it, being like, I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, I mean, bashing your whole body against people is not. I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I was like, oh, this is not healthy or good for you. But
it's a common thing in sports, though, like with football, of like, let them go get their aggression out on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's a certain point where you're like, you need to have more than that. Also, do you have to be like a skillful player that like studies the game and all that kind of stuff? And that's where I'm like, I don't want to pay attention. I just fucking, I don't like it this much. I just want to hit people. that's really all I did. Like I just was like, I just hit people. I knew the game a little bit, but I didn't like the people.
But you played professional.
Yeah,
football.
but like I didn't like the people enough. Like I had one good college football friend, and we were only friends because he was a 6'8" Turkish guy that could dance, and he was hilarious. And we would just make fun of most of the other football players because of how bro-y they were. But like that was like what I liked about football. I had some good friends in football, but like I wasn't like a bro-y football guy. And I think some people are like, oh, that's what you are, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm sure I've had my moments, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that answered the question.
It's great.
So since comedy is so important to you, do you feel like when you have a hard set or like you aren't getting what you want, are you able to, I feel like you have such a way of being like, oh, this is just how things are. Like I feel it and then I move on. Yeah. Of being positive. You don't want to deal with the shit.
Yeah.
But like when comedy doesn't work out the way you want, how does that make you feel?
Yeah. I think I'm starting to deal with that more now that I've been doing it for a little bit longer, where I'm just like, oh, I'm not expecting things, but I feel like if certain things don't start to happen, I'm like, oh, is this a failure? Am I just not good at this? Those types of things start to creep in. So I'm figuring out how to deal with those. And I think I'm just doing that by like, moving out of the town. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what I'm doing. But I want to.
I don't know what you're saying.
I'm moving to Austin on the 20th.
Oh.
Yeah. That's not why I'm moving. But I want to challenge myself in comedy, and I want to go to I've never moved to a new scene that's different than what I started. And so
yeah, great idea.
Yeah, I think I'll get better. And I think that's, to answer your question, when I feel a little bit stuck, I feel like I need to go some places where I need to challenge myself. That's a little bit of the athlete, I think, mentality, but it's also like if I'm not feeling good, what can I do to maybe change to work to get to where I do feel a little bit better? I think that's kind of how my brain kind of works and all this stuff. And yeah, so I think that's part of it.
I saw that in, I mean, we haven't talked a lot really at all about it, but I saw like you traveling a lot and going out of town and setting up your own shows. And I'm always like, I did that too when I lived in Chicago. Yeah. I was just like, I'm just going to go on the road and like do my own shit. Yeah. And that's like really respectful, because some people will just sit around and be like, I'm not getting what I want. Yeah. And then others go and get what they want.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be life. It's going to, it's going to be like, either you want it or you don't. That's one of the cool things about comedy that kind of, translates even from sports, is like competition is competition, or like just even I was a track and field athlete at the university before I played football. So it's a very singular sport. It's you versus you. Really, if you think about it, the only way you throw, I was a thrower. The only way you throw farther is if you work harder at your technique, you get stronger in the gym, you eat better, you don't drink, you know, do the right things. So it's weird as it sounds, a lot of that is applicable to comedy, and I'm excited about like putting that into it and seeing what happens, especially with the not drinking thing. I think that's going to be a game changer. It's just so much fun to have a couple and go up there a little bit more loose, but it's not necessary.
How long have you not been drinking?
I don't even know. I don't know the day or anything. I just know that I was like, I came back from a trip and I was just like, oof. It was like 5 days in a row. I was like, I don't need this anymore. Yeah. You know, it's
yes.
like, yeah. Because it's fun. You're like, you don't even realize that what you're doing to yourself. And, you know, I wasn't like, when I was drinking, I wasn't like sad or anything. I was just like having a good time, having fun shows. And then, but it's a slippery slope that I don't want to. There's too much. My mom struggles with alcohol as well. So it's like we in the family, I just don't want to be that. I want to get away from that. And I feel like I'm at the point where I can, you know. So.
Are you in therapy?
No.
Wow.
No. Yeah. It's something that I should do. I've thought about it. But after that car accident, they took me, and then when my parents did split, they took both my brother and I think to my brother was a little bit older, so I don't know if he had to go, but they took me to a therapist, and they basically did an evaluation, and they were
she wants to hear this.
It's okay. Therapy's not that scary. It's not.
You seem like you're in therapy.
Thanks. I've thought about it. I feel like I should. Feel like I will at some point. But when I was a kid, after the car accident and my parents got divorced, we were sent to therapy, or not therapy, or to see a counselor to see if we were being evaluated, whether we should have a therapist or a psychiatrist or something like that. It was like court ordered because of what had happened. And I went in and had the evaluation, and they were like, he doesn't need a therapist or anything. And I thought that was, now looking back, I'm like, either that person should have been fired.
Yeah.
Or my mom was just like, I don't have the money or whatever. I don't know if that's what it was, but.
How soon after an accident were they doing this evaluation?
I don't even know. I just know that it was after, because we got into the car accident and I was 5. I believe I was 5 years old. And then my parents split up, like when we recovered, it was like probably, I don't know, less than a year later. So
You get a lot of those 1-2 punches.
Yeah. It's interesting how that has kind of happened. Yeah. There's a couple other things that it happened that way too.
I feel like there's some people who are just, not that there's people where bad things don't happen, but there are some where it's always like a pile on when things happen. Yeah. Versus some just kind of go through it a little bit easier, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, there's something to that.
Yeah. Like there's no rhyme or reason why things happen, but sometimes they do seem to happen to people in a way that you're like, God damn, like what the, like even my roommate, I'm like, that guy's been through way more over, I've been through a lot, but then I'm like, Jesus, I couldn't imagine having to fight cancer and have all that happen. Like, And then
his roommate like steals from him.
Yeah, his roommate fucking steals from him and like, eats a lot of his food because he wasn't eating that much.
It's a big bummer.
I didn't do that much.
You think he wasn't eating that much?
Damn.
Really bad. I'm going to go with it. I mean, that's the comedic instinct. She started it.
Who? Do you think your comedy is dark?
I think it's getting darker because I feel like I'm at a point where I don't think any of it's good yet, but I think it's like, I don't, but I think it's getting more honest, and I feel like I understand like the tools and techniques more, and I feel comfortable on stage more so that I can do stuff like that. Okay. Have you done like, because I know that you, I believe I've heard you do some stuff. Have you done like dark? You've done darker.
I have. Yeah.
And how do you feel about like, do you, because it's hard. It's like hard to make dark stuff fun and funny. It's like, I feel like it's got to be really good,
Yeah. Have you tried? Well, from my perspective, and like, okay, I just want to say this. So like, just then when you were like, I don't think it's good.
Mm.
Do you really believe that?
I mean, I feel like until I start to, no, there's no until I feel like, I think I just have that mentality because I don't want to be like, I'm doing great and then just relax a little bit. I think I'm still in like the beginning stages of stand up where, you know, I see people on the road and I see people in other cities that are so good that I'm just like, holy shit, you know, like I couldn't do that. And I'm like, well, how did they get there? I'm like, they just were like, probably just like, I'm okay for a while. And like really just were working their asses off. And then eventually they got to be really good, or they just had a better brain or something. I don't know. But like, however it works, I feel like, until I know, like, I feel like when other people start to tell you you're doing something, then you can be like, okay, I have something going here, but I just don't feel like, I feel like I have moments where things are going all right.
Okay.
But I just want to keep working, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just, I've never been naturally good at anything. Like, I mean, like, even track and field, like I was okay at it, but I had to just put the reps in like over and over again. Football, same thing. Like I had to like really work at it. And I think stand up in a way, that's kind of how I've approached it. And like, I've felt like I just have to work my ass off to be better than people that are naturally better than me. I feel that. Yeah. And I could just be insane for thinking that, but
No.
that's what I'm going to keep doing. I don't know.
I think that's a good, like, I think parts of that I definitely agree with. Like, push yourself, never be like, I'm good enough. And, you know, unless you want to feel like that.
No.
Well, it's a craft to get good at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, before I became friends with you, I just thought comedians are just naturally funny people, and they just talk about their life, and they're just funny the way they do it. But then learning it is a real like skill to hone and improve on and work at. Like, you know, just like anything else you do.
Yeah, anything that I believe that anything in life that you want to get good at, you're going to have to put the work in. But like the things that are really hard to become successful at in life, it takes even more. Like that, I don't think people understand there, because the way it's packaged, you see everyone when they're done with like working in the shadows and doing the things that no one, you know, like years and years of work, and you just get the final product and then you just go, oh wow, they're just really great at this. It's like, holy shit, if you knew all the things that they had to do and the failure and that's one of the things about comedy that I love, is when you fail, you get to evaluate it and then go and redo it and then get up there and do it again. And like, that's a cool feedback loop to like, for progress, to feel good. You know,
shouldn't that be how we do life?
Yeah, I mean, that is how we should do life. And I feel like the people that are successful in life and happy with their lives kind of implement that in their own ways. And then there's other people that don't, and they just go the other way. And yeah, I'm trying to do that way. Yeah.
It's really perceptive. You know, you sound like you've been to therapy.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I might have a girlfriend that's been to therapy.
There we go.
No. Yeah.
You're constantly what, Millie?
Impressed with the guests that haven't really been to any formal therapy, but very intuitive about self and life. And
I'm almost thinking that's maybe a comedian trait too, that you're always alone. Not always alone, but like in that craft, you're alone a lot and like self-reflecting, and maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, you have to be okay with being by yourself. And I think good comedy is honest comedy, and you have to look back at yourself a lot, and you have to, my favorite people of all time, like they've done that. You know, I think the people that you're like, you have to watch what they're saying. They've really thought about who they are and in their relationships to the world. And yeah, I think that's where good comedy comes from.
The thing with being like, you know, you saying like, oh, I don't think I'm good yet. The reason I was like, oh, do you really believe that? Is because it's part of why I wanted to start this podcast, because I feel like a lot of comedians are like, it's like, I don't know, they feel like they have to shit on themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit of what do I want to call it? I'm not good with fucking words. Yeah, it's a self-deprecation, but like you have to be a little bit of a masochist to do this in a way. Bigger word, okay? I know big fucking words over here. No, it's yeah, it's like you have to have this like self-infliction a little bit, and I think it's also like being honest when you do shit on yourself a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I think someone told me a long time ago, if you think you're good and you're telling people you're good, you're not good. If other people start telling you how good you are, then you're probably getting better, you know? I think it's okay to like, I think we don't like that. No. I think it's okay to be positive. And I do believe that if it helps you and like you're positive about what you're doing, I think you should be proud of it. I think you should be, if it helps you get better, I think. And
are you proud of yourself?
I'm proud of myself. Yeah. I'm proud of some of the things I've done. Yeah. Like
in comedy.
Yeah. I've had a lot, like I've done stuff. I've done some stuff. Yeah, no, I have, like, this is the thing. I have fun up there. Every time I go on stage, I have fun, even if it's at an open mic, and I still go to a bunch of open mics. And yeah, I think if I can get people in 3 people in a room to like chuckle, I'm like, that was cool. I'm proud that I did that. I'll tell them after, too. I'll be like, yeah, you fucking like that, didn't you?
Not a bro
like
way.
You 3 people over here, you like that shit, didn't you? No, I won't do that. But it's, yeah, I love doing this. So I think, yeah, there will be a day where I'm like, all right, I'm really proud of that. And I'm not going to like probably tell anyone, but.
Corey, please, Melanie.
So many things I could say. You want to be, we're not in a therapy session.
Tee off on me.
Well, you were kind of saying it in so many words a minute ago, but it's almost like the way you're like, I have to think negative or bad because it's going to push you to be good.
Yeah.
If I think and this is how my brain operates for a very long time, of just, I got to be humble, because came down to my belief about myself that I wasn't a good person.
Right.
And if I wasn't humble and if I thought of myself as a good person, I'd be unaware of all the harm I was doing or how bad I was.
Right.
And so that belief, it was kind of like, it was a way to keep you in line. And I hear you kind of talking about like this, I can't really think I've arrived or that I'm good, because it's like a drive to push you to keep trying to be better.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's a very old way of thinking.
Yeah. I agree
that
with
we
that.
learn, we learn it from our upbringing in some way.
Yeah.
Like, what if you just knew you were really good and also could get better?
Yeah,
both are possible. I agree with that.
I mean,
it's a healthier way to look at it.
I had to figure out how to do that.
I think deep down, I do believe that I'm doing something pretty good, but I also like, I come from like an Italian family that's like pretty cocky. And I don't want to just be an asshole also and like radiate like, oh, I know I'm good. You know, like there's something about that.
There's a difference.
Yeah,
and
I know.
But that, you see, that's the perception of there is a narrative you agreed to at some point in the culture you grew up in the family you grew up in.
Yeah.
In society.
Yeah.
But that I'm an asshole if I think positive.
Right.
If I think something of myself that I'm this narcissistic person.
Right. Yeah, no, that shouldn't be the case. But I can see exactly where you're coming from. I think in my like personal life, I think that I do good things and I try to do good things, and I've really tried to be like a solid person. So I feel good about about that. Like I've made plenty of mistakes for sure. I've done things wrong. Absolutely. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I feel like I've tried to live a solid life as much as I can. And the comedy part is like, I think that's also interesting to be like, how much of your worth is in comedy? How much do you feel from whether you're successful or not, or have a good set or a bad set? So I think that those two, I'm trying to keep them even a little bit more separated now that I go, because I want my personal life to be healthy and good and normal, and as normal as it can be. And then, the comedy, where it goes, it goes. And yeah, but I do feel good about some stuff that I'm doing, and as I get better, I believe that I will be happy about it. I do believe that.
We've talked about this before too. Like you saying, like wrapping your worth up in comedy is definitely tied. I don't know. It just like blends in together when you were like, whoever said that quote about like, when people tell you you're good, that's when you're good.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not true.
I know.
Well, no.
You're like,
No, you're right. You're right. I think I said it wrong because, but I think what I mean is, if you have like this quiet confidence about you, you don't have to brag to people.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people who brag, and it's usually the people beating their chest that and letting everyone know how good they are, that like they got a lot of work to do. So I think what it is like having like a quiet confidence to know that you can do the thing, and you don't have to. You're proud, but you don't have to brag and be outward about it, so that people are like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" So I think that's more so what I mean is like if you were to go to a place and other people were like, "Oh, that's so and so," like. Not that you need that, but like that's more so what you're looking for versus walking in the room being like, I'm top dog here, which is what a lot of people do. A lot of comics that I've been around think that they think so highly of themselves. And I'm like, yeah, you're
in
all
an
right.
off-putting way.
I'm like, you're all right. Have you been anywhere else? Have you fucking been anywhere else? You're all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. That's why I can say that. I go to a fucking open mic. No. I'm kidding.
No, you're not. Yes,
Is that
I
the
get what you're
confidence
saying.
you were looking for?
Yes.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think, okay, I'll just say it. I think you're very funny.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And in some of your sets, I've seen you be like, I'm not funny. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Is that like you joking or is that?
I think that's me like on a new bit maybe or a new idea
okay.
that I'm throwing, just like maybe not having the confidence or the right words and just being like, why did I say that? And like
I got
almost
you.
being like, I don't know, not working the crowd, but being like, this is the point where you guys know that I just tried something and I know that it didn't, like, I know that wasn't that good. I know that I could do better maybe
Got you.
on a new thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think I've ever went out and did my full set and been like, oh, I suck. You know, I don't think I've ever done that. That would be a different
Just
ballgame.
crushed it
I'd
and
be
been like, well, I suck.
I'm fucking the worst. Jesus. Sorry you guys had to deal with that. And they're all like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Yeah, that's almost scarier. when someone does well and then they're like, oh, I'm the worst.
You're like, stay humble, fuckers.
Yeah. I just fucking bombed out there. Good luck. Yeah, no.
Can I ask why you think you want to go to therapy?
Good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. Because everyone's doing it. No. I just want to fit in.
Try out jokes.
Yeah. Just wanna
For an
fit in. hour,
they can just listen to you.
Yeah. I'm going to tell jokes. I hope whoever the therapist is, they're going to have to be okay with that. No, I think because I'm going to continue to try and grow as a person. I want to do that. I want a good life. And I think that I haven't done a lot of things that will help me improve my life. And I'm excited to hopefully get to a point where I can, try therapy and other things. And yeah, I'm for all of it. I'm even trying to, nutrition and just different ways to like feel better throughout the day and not drinking your coffee when you wake up first thing in the morning. Just all shit like that. Just like little things. I'm interested in all that. So therapy is one that's definitely on the list.
That's nice. What's your support system look like right now? What do you?
I don't know. I think I have good relationships with my family back home. We don't talk a lot, but my grandparents are like basically my parents. They're really they've been my parents. My brother and I both lived with them when things were going kind of awry with my parents. So they're great. They always have been great, and we love going to see them. I have a wonderful girlfriend. She's been fantastic. She is she's someone that is like allowed me to get through a lot of the thing in a way, like I don't know how to explain it, but she just is she's been wonderful. She suggests, all of her suggestions usually end up making me feel better because she's going to therapy and she's thinking of things. And yeah, she's great. She's been a wonderful part of life, and that's been huge. I don't think I would have been able to get through a lot of the stuff with my dad recently without her. My old roommate who, we went through all that together, that we have he's like my brother, there's no, so like people like that. There's a lot of really good people in comedy too that I talk to and I'm friends with, and we bond on stuff, and people that I work with at the restaurant have been great too. So that's been about my support system, and it's been more than I could ask for, I think, in a lot of ways.
It's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
I want to circle back to when you asked me, but I want to ask you about bringing up hard stuff in comedy. Have you tried to joke about your dad at all?
I just started a new bit, and then I have been doing that bit with the car accident. And,
Oh yeah, Melanie's favorite.
Yeah, she really loved that one. That's a new kind of joke that I'm gonna, because it does hit kind of, but it's the second part of it needs work. Like the misdirection's funny, but then there's a bunch of stuff that.
Then you hit the dark stuff, and people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well."
Like I talk about getting intubated and like just crazy shit. But that'll be exactly. She gets it.
What does intubated mean?
It's when they put
a
a
tube
tube
down your
down your throat, and then
Shit.
if you have a gag reflex, you throw up. And I didn't. No, I did. And I was like, yes, thank God. Not that it matters. Not, but it's just I was.
But I mean, it's good to know.
Yeah, it's good to know. It's a slippery slope. If not, I don't.
Okay,
Just throwing things down there when I'm like 7. This is not what you want. Yeah. They're entering me in hot dog eating contests and shit.
He doesn't need therapy. What he needs is tender goddamn condos.
So yeah, there's a lot of fun places to take that, I think, and I just don't know where to go with it,
I like the hot dog eating.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So, I think the whole key that I'm learning is like the really dark, crazy stuff. And I am doing one about my dad that I'm like trying to work on, and it's getting positive responses, but I just recently found like the silly ending to it. So I'm in the process of like figuring out how maybe that works. And I think when it does work, it'll be good, but it might take the right audience too. Not everyone's ready for that. Some people are like, we didn't come here to get bummed out. I hear that a lot. And I'm like, that does make sense.
They say that?
So, yeah, I hear people say that. They're like, yeah, we're just not here. Like a lot of people are being trained to be like, I like it to be lighter and more crowd worky, which is cool. And I don't have anything against that. I think it's a good tool. And I think people are entitled to go to a show that they kind of want the right entertainment for them. I think that's fair. But I'm still going to fucking throw these dark jokes when I want. And
because there is an audience for that.
There totally is. Yeah. I think I'm in that stage of like I want to get some of these down because I think there's some real humor there. And
I love that.
yeah. And the football stuff too. I mean, when I do those jokes, they're like, they're rooted in, that was a shitty time. And, these jokes kind of help me get through it a little bit. And it's not the most relatable topic, but
they hit.
Yeah, they're fun.
I
think they're fun.
I feel like it'd be easier to make jokes out of a topic that's not as relatable to everybody, if that makes sense, when it comes to the hard stuff. Because my question while y'all have talked about some of this stuff is, how do you make jokes out of really dark stuff when you never know who in the room? This is very raw thing.
Sure.
For
Like it
them.
just happened. And they're like, yeah. Like I'm trying to get away from the thing that just happened. Is that what you mean? And then they get reminded.
If someone's parent had just died and
Yeah.
you're making a joke about losing a parent, that's going to like stir something for them.
Sure.
And it's probably not laughter, right? If it's really raw. And so I would think they could laugh about your painful experience with football if they can't relate to it versus if it's something more present for someone,
Yeah, I think that.
Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think that it could go a lot of different ways. It could make the person feel not seen, but like there's a relatability that if it's a good enough joke, it could make them laugh. And like, that kind of happened to me. That's funny that they're this make me feel better, or it could make them feel like shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think overall, if you're going to a comedy show that you don't know exactly who the act is, you kind of got to be like, well, they're probably going to talk about anything. So just know that, I guess. Yeah.
It's kind of like everything's therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah. So if that comes up, that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah. And I've heard stories of people being like heckling and being like, you can't talk about that. But for the most part, and in my experience, like I used to tell a joke about Make-A-Wish, and I had many people coming up to me and being like, oh my God, I went through that program and that joke is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's mainly people being like, or like me fighting with my sister, the Southern shit. They're like, that's so accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's very rare for people to be like, you really shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
What's that maybe this isn't something you talk about openly as a comedian, but the anatomy of making a dark joke a good one. Because you were just saying, if it's done well, or if you do say it a certain way, like what's the anatomy of what makes something like that funny and palatable versus bombing?
Yeah, that's a great
versus
question.
like dragging the audience down.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've seen it all different ways. You've seen, yeah. I don't know. I think that the silliness needs to be there to like drag people out of the darkness. And if it's not, unless it's like a really brilliant play on words, it's like it just drags the crowd down. But it's got to be silly. There has to be some sort of release at the end of it that the tension that's built up goes in the right direction. So that's one thing that I'm trying to do. I think that's how you get through that stuff. Or you just have to be so like casual about it, and like they have to know that you're clearly not affected.
Yeah.
In a like as a present person, it's not really bothering you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can tell the joke. But if you're still clearly, I've seen it, and I went to an open mic the day my dad passed, and I talked about it a little bit because I was like, I don't know what the fuck else to do, and I tried to be really silly about it, but parts of it weren't silly enough, and I could feel the audience was like, oh, that's you. Why are you here, dude? Which is true, but you have to like kind of you have to show that you're okay, and then the audience will usually read the body language and be like, oh, they're kidding, they know it's a joke,
right? And that's pretty cool. I think that's really sweet that an audience like really cares about comics. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, I mean, you never want to hear all. You're like, shut the fuck up. This is supposed to be funny.
Yeah, stop feeling emotion. The hell's wrong with you?
Just laugh at me, damn it.
Yeah. But do you, like, in these beginning stages of talking about your dad, do you start, because I had a dark joke about my mom that I don't really tell anymore. Like sometimes it would pop, but it didn't pop enough to where I was like, we're going to hang that on the shelf for a while.
Yes.
This joke in particular for me had so much, like a big thing happened. Like my mom shot my dad and he died.
Jeez.
Right. So that was like a lot to just like, that's a lot in a setup to where I had to be like,
yeah, if that was the setup, I don't
Where's the punchline?
It was more of a gunshot than a punchline.
At least you had like a funny hat on or something. Like, you had like a fucking balloon hat on. Maybe you get away with that one, but I don't know.
But well, okay, let's say like some people have to be like, I had cancer. I'm okay. Everybody chill. You know, you have to do that thing where you're like, are you doing that right now, or are you just going into the joke?
I don't have it figured out yet. I think I started doing the joke a bunch of different ways when he first passed, and now I'm kind of like working it into another set of jokes. So I'm like figuring out kind of where it's working.
Got you.
But there's jokes that I thought I tried to do about him going to prison, which are dark, but the crowds usually were like not okay with it because they're like, oh,
So
this
weird.
is fucked up, you know.
You're like, I'm talking about it though.
But I'm trying to talk about it. Yeah, I would. So I think I'm getting closer to making these jokes work, but I think that it just, like anything else, it just takes doing it and then rewriting it and then figuring out the tone of the joke and the emotion of the joke and where it fits between two other jokes. Like that's a really
I'm fascinated at this process.
it's a really big part of the whole thing, I think. And that's when you see someone who's successful at it, you're like, why did they get that fucking joke to work when it's like, because they thought about where it was in the set, they thought about how they got to it, and it's got to be really good.
Yeah. And I feel like it makes me want to revisit that joke because I should.
Yeah.
Because I've only gotten to be a better comic. So when I look back at it now, I'll probably find a way.
By the way, you're very funny. And
Thank
every
you.
time I see you perform, I'm like, she's so goddamn good.
Thank you.
So like, yeah. And I feel like I've told you that a bunch. I try to. But
Not enough, honestly.
A couple more.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, it's always fun to watch and impressive. And I think you should get back to that joke and figure out how to make it work for you and silly and whatever you want it to be. You don't have to. I think that's another thing that's like, you don't have to do these topics. You don't have to do the dark stuff, but when you do and it works out, there's something to it that's like, that's pretty fucking cool.
It feels so good, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Like, it's such a, I don't know if
like
fun is the right word.
It's kind of like the essence of why you're doing it. Like,
it's your like therapy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So and no one has that story.
Right.
Like if you come up with a good premise on like plants,
Mhm.
you're like, okay, this is pretty fucking good. But if you come up with a good premise about your dad dying, you're like, only this.
Yeah.
Only I can do this.
Yeah. And that's when you start to like find out that, you know, it'll separate you from like just the everyday stuff that like the very relatable topics. Like you talked about how you don't want to be super relatable, which I kind of agree with. Like if you talk about an interesting thing that only happened to you in an interesting, a relatable way. That's what I'm trying to say. Something that only happened to you in a relatable way.
Yeah.
That's what I've always tried to do that with the football stuff, where I'm like, most people aren't going to understand maybe kind of making an NFL team and then getting cut. They're not, but the whole like family stuff that followed it, I was like, this can be funny and relatable because we've all had family members that are disappointed in you, bringing up shit that you don't want to fucking hear about, and they still do it, which is fine because it's funny and I just laugh it off now. But like, you know, I mean, yeah, like a week after I got cut, like my cousin was like, hey, do you want to go to the game? I got tickets. Like, yeah, I want to go to the game, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'll bring my fucking cleats and I'll run out there.
I'll wear my uniform.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Did you go to the game?
Read the room. No. No, I've totally disassociated from sports.
Oh no.
I'm kind of getting back into it now, which is actually fun. Not getting back into it. I watch hockey.
Okay.
Because I love hockey. I grew up playing hockey as well. But I found this out. Did you know how much college football players are making in the NCAA? Like,
I didn't think you could pay college football.
They passed it, and it's unregulated. So like some of these dudes are making more in college than they would make in the NFL. Some of these guys are not leaving college to play. They're staying in college because they're like, I'm gonna make more money here.
Does that make you want to go back?
Oh, I already thought about it.
Going back to college?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm going to. I'm gonna find a college. I'm gonna change my fucking name, shave my beard.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna start training heavy again, and I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how much money are we talking about? Like they get
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Do they get like contracts?
Yeah, it's becoming like a thing, and then now they're tethering like their Instagram and like likeness to it, and like
that's gonna be not good.
No, I knew this whole place is just turning into a giant like fucking slot machine gambling. Like this is just so people can bet on it and make money off it, and like the way shit's going, it's just bizarre.
Those poor kids.
I know.
Getting eaten up by the machine early.
It's really, I feel like an old person talking about it, but I'm like, I'm 33. It's like, I'm not an older person, but I like the shit that's happening and how fast it's happening is not healthy. And I think anyone with half a brain can kind of realize that it's like, it's going a little too fast.
Yeah. Young, dumb, with a lot of money.
Yeah. Like, how is that going to be good for anything? Like, especially even just going to class or getting an education. Not that I did, but like, those guys are just going to be, I mean, do whatever you want. They're going to do whatever they want.
I feel so cool right now talking about sports.
I know, right?
I know, right?
Yeah. I loved going back. Just no, I loved sports. Sports to me were great. And without them, I don't think I would have been able to make it through a lot of stuff. Like just being part of a team, training, getting away from stuff, working through stuff. I think sports are beneficial in some capacity.
Do you feel like you can watch a Bills game and not be bitter?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'd still be, I could still
kick all their asses.
Yeah, I know I could still play all right. I think about it. I do think about it sometimes. I have like crazy dreams about like fucking, it's game day and I'm like late for the bus and like just shit like that. Like shit that, I still have like kind of flashbacks.
Curious, if someone handed you the other, like you could have every dream you've ever wanted in sports or you could have every dream you ever wanted in comedy, which one would you choose?
That's a good one.
I've thought about this comedy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I think I've always been more interested in creating things versus breaking things down. Which is,
nice.
Like I've always, my aunt is an architect in New York City and I've always been fascinated. And she got the fuck out of Buffalo too. Cause she's like, see ya, which is awesome. She's part owner of a huge firm. She's been working in architecture and preservation for like 20, 30, probably 30 years now. She's part owner of a huge firm. I watched her and I was inspired by her to study architecture and in architecture school, you create things, you come up with concepts, you're very much so observing the environment that you're in to create something better, which I found was way cooler than just wanting to bash people. Like I had to, like sports were fun for me. I had a great time, but it just, I think subconsciously I always wanted to do that stuff anyways, create stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
quick question about the dad and the dark humor.
mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you need a laugh? Like there's comics now like Nanette and stuff like that where it's not really meant for a laugh, but you're going for a laugh.
Yeah.
Or do you just feel good saying it? Like Ritu had a joke where she was like, it never gets a laugh, but I just love saying it.
I just like saying it. Yeah. I think it depends on the part of the set that you're doing. If you do, yeah, because I think there's parts where I'm like, I'm not trying to offend people or piss people off, but I'm like, if I do, it's part of it. Because it's like, I think it's part of there should be this like back and forth a little bit. Like, I don't know. It's probably just the chaos that is just deep in me. But like, I think there should be like they kind of don't like you a little bit, and then they really like you, and then they don't, and then they fucking, all right, at the end, do 3 where they really like you.
So they can go and be like,
and they'll remember you. But at the end of the day, they're like, what the fuck was wrong with that guy?
I love him.
I kind of like that.
That's dope.
So that's what I'm going for now.
Hell yeah. I want to say that everybody anytime your name is brought up in a room when you're not there, people talk about how good of a guy you are.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I know you were like, oh, I'm proud of how good of a person I am, and everyone else feels that too.
That's cool. Yeah, I think both, like you said before, I think in this case too, both can exist. You can be a good person, you can look out for people, you can help bring people up, and you can also be pretty good at, you could be good at comedy. Yeah.
You took the pretty out.
Yeah.
You took the pretty out.
You can do both. I think that some people, it's a misconception that you like have to be this like beaten down, destroyed, angry person to have a sense of humor, and this is not true. I think some of the greats were like that. They were just tortured people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a thing, but it's not a standard.
I would say for you, your belief in yourself is what makes you so good.
I mean, that's what changed the whole game.
You are funny, you're natural at it. But I from when I get to see you and when I see you just regular, not on stage, but then when I get to see that, your belief in yourself is like what lets you just like come alive.
Yeah. I think that's every time I see her perform, I'm like, that is just really, So that's awesome to see that come through.
Yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot. I remember the moment leaning up against the counter as a server when I was like, I'm going to start believing myself because I can't do this anymore.
Hell yeah.
And I tell everybody when they're like, what was the moment that changed? Like you went to go full-time comedy. I was like believing in myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had to like just
I think
go
that's
100.
the most important ingredient, I would think, with anything that you're going to do. But especially since we've been just kind of talking about it in the sense that I would guarantee if you start really leaning into I'm good. Not in the cocky way, but really internally, like, I'm good, you'll get better.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Have you ever seen me perform?
I haven't.
All right. Wouldn't it be great? It's just like,
No.
I take back everything I said.
No.
That'd be funny though. But no, I agree with you, and I'm working on that. I will continue to believe in myself more, and
I don't think it's ever like a thing you reach too. It's still work for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can take the feedback and do so much more with it, I think, when you're operating from that place.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Like my friend jokes, she's like, I love feedback more than anybody she's ever met. And she's like, you can just hear all the negative. And I was like, none of it is negative. Like, I know I operate from a certain place. So any feedback just feels helpful.
Yeah.
I get to sit with it and what I do with it. Versus, I don't know, that could feel really triggering to hear feedback of like, oh God, it could pile on to I'm not good, you know?
If you feel like you're not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus it's like in this situation with this person, this is their experience of me and they just reflected it back to me. Doesn't mean that's who I am, you know?
Yeah.
So I can take that feedback and do something with it. Yeah. Or even at the very least, I know how to be in better relationship with that person.
That's great
you know?
advice.
Yeah.
I like that. What do you feel about the old saying that like every great artist even at the end of their life, they feel like something was like missing from even their best work?
What do I think about that?
Yeah. Have you heard that?
No, but
Corey's like, I just made it up.
Yeah, it's just totally.
well, if it's an artist in particular, I would say that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just a creative thing, and an artist has never arrived at what they
Right.
wanted to create. So that makes sense to hear that in an artist context.
Yeah, I think that's what not to be like it's an art, but like I think that's what we all struggle with is like being satisfied with what you've created versus what you know you're capable. Like that's that constant battle, but being more positive could get you even closer to probably that thing that you think is missing.
Yeah,
So
1,000%. In therapy today, our meditation was like, we're going to close our eyes and celebrate something. And I just filmed over the weekend something. And that was the first time that I just like allowed myself to celebrate without being like, but I did this, but this happened. But I just took 2 minutes to just celebrate. And I was like, wow, that was really nice. I just like, I have so much more life to live.
yeah.
So celebrating what I do is very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think small steps, being happy with the small steps is part of it too.
Yeah.
You build to something bigger if you're constantly just being like, I'm doing all right, this is good, these little changes, and I'm positive about them, and before you know it, you're doing stuff that you didn't think you were capable of.
Right?
Yeah. I like that idea. And I think I've subconsciously tried to do that more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boyfriend Alex goes, sometimes you think you're going whoop, but you're really going boop, 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 boop. I'm like, oh yeah.
And do you find that there's this is so crazy, but do you find that there's like a direct you can tell, especially in stand-up, if you're doing a little bit better, like you might not notice it, but you'll notice by how other people that maybe are not threatened by you, but they are like won't give you, they're like, you could tell when they're away from you that they're like, I don't like how well this person's been doing, like that's like a direct thing that I feel.
So that's what you meant when like other people will let you know when you're good.
Yeah. When they're like, fuck, I can't.
Oh yeah, in insecurity when they're sad. Yeah, 1,000%.
It's so weird.
But I don't hang around those people.
No, I don't either anymore. I've cleared myself of that, and I think that's what I'm excited about moving to a new place. Is just like getting to know people that are comfortable with their whatever comedy they do, and realizing that we all have our own lane and path and whatever.
And you're gonna come back to Nashville. This is how I felt in Chicago. I left Chicago, and then when I came back, they were like, "Hey, you're here!"
Yeah.
I was like, "I was here."
It's competition. It's
I think I was here the whole time.
I was here. Yeah. But it's like, I think coming from a very competitive thing and like kind of getting away from it and the toxicness of it and like potentially pro sports to then go back into a whole thing that was very much so also competitive and toxic and all that shit was tough. Like that's like something that I've also been like, oof. I think that contributes to where I feel like, oh, I'm not good enough or whatever, or because it's in a competitive environment, and that's sometimes what it breeds is people will do anything, they will say anything, they will do anything that they can do to get themselves above.
Right.
That's a lot of people.
But with comedy, you're with yourself and you're making your choices.
You're right.
You're moving.
Yeah.
You're creating shows outside.
Oh, yeah.
You're traveling. So you got the power in this.
Oh, I got the power.
You got the power.
I'm pumped. I'm very, very excited, and I'm going to be back I'm going to still run some shows in town, and I will be back like hopefully close to once a month. So
dope.
It's going to be great.
Do you have a show before you leave?
I have a few.
He's on Don't Tell this weekend.
Don't Tell. Yeah.
Might come.
Yeah.
You should come to that one.
You should.
That would be cool. I guess.
He giggles.
You're just like in the back. Like,
she brings a huge notepad. It's like bigger than her.
She's fucking like, she's writing me like messages. She's like, no.
Textbook. What do you like to do for you? Like, what's your favorite thing? Just self-care thing.
I love to cook. Yeah. I think cooking is my. I try not to post about it because I'm fucking annoying, and I'm just like on my story. Look at the potatoes I cut. It's annoying.
Quit talking negative about yourself.
I know you're right. I'm gonna post so much food stuff, but I used to do it way more. But it's I love to cook. I love to watch cooking shows. I love to work out. I do love to work out. What else do I love to do? I love to hike. There's a lot of stuff.
I love that you love to cook, man.
Yeah, I think
That's
cooking is like as far as like a therapeutic thing that I can think of that is one thing that I would go to. It would be that, because it's once again it's creating something, which I love. It's like you have your own way to make something, and you know the first bite if it's good or not, and you know how to change it the next time if it tastes like shit or like you put too much salt, whatever it is. Yeah, I love that. I love that concept. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Well, tell everybody where they can find you on the socials.
Yeah, you can find me at Corey J Knox on Instagram.
Is that Corey?
Corey J Knox. My middle name's Jerome, which is cool. And then
which is sick.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Fucking dope.
People don't realize how cool that is.
They will soon.
I don't really. I'm on Facebook. It's just Corey Knox. I guess I'm on TikTok. I don't know. I really don't pay attention to it, but yeah, those are just the places.
Okay, dope. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
me.
Y'all were great. This is awesome.
Fun.
And congratulations on doing this. This is really cool. And congratulations to everything in comedy that you've been doing. And
same to you, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I wish the best for you.
Yes.
You're gonna kill it in Austin.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep doing what you're doing, which is wonderful. So
Thanks, man.
yeah, be great.
Thanks for listening to I'm Fine, It's Fine podcast. I am trauma therapist Melanie Reese, and you can find me across all platforms at Trauma Therapy Nashville.
My name is Amber Autry. I am a comedian here in Nashville and internationally touring. You can find me on all platforms at Amber Autry Comedy. And while you're at it, make sure you're liking, subscribing, sharing, rating, reviewing this podcast. I know that sounds like a lot, but it helps so much. And we're having a good time. We're healing. It feels good. So just a little extra sauce, sharing it with a friend, rate and review it. It really helps, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. And if you have a topic or conversation that you want to hear us talk about, or a story you'd like to share on your own, shoot us an email at imfinesometimes@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening.